Guys, I'm enjoying my name is Coco34. I'm here today to do another video on the prehistoric subject files. Well, this is one that I've done that I wanted to do for a long time, but it's been a long time since I've done another episode of the prehistoric subject files, purely because I got burnt out by them. I was surprised at how fast I got burnt out of them, and yeah, that was pretty much it. I was just having a bit of a break from them. But I'm back doing them now. I'm going to try and spread them out a bit more so that I don't burn out as easily. But yeah, we're going to get into the first episode after the hiatus with Lambeosaurus. Now, Lambeosaurus is a genus of Lambeosauridae. It was described in 1923 by William Parkes, and it lived from 75 to 76 million years ago in North America. It's also closely related to Corythosaurus. The postcranial parts of Lambeosaurus lambei are actually a lot more similar to Corythosaurus than a lot of people give it. But by using the ontogeny of both animals, you can actually distinguish both animals from each other by just basically using the juveniles to tell the differences between them. Now, Lambeosaurus has a key difference from Corythosaurus, and that's that Corythosaurus has a forking nasal process that Lambeosaurus does not. So you can tell those two species or those two genera apart because of that difference. Now, Lambeosaurus, like all hadrosaurs, or at least the majority of them, had what are known as ossified tendons, and that basically allows for them to hold the tails up. With Lambeosaurus, it only had 5 fingers on the front hands, though only 4 touched the ground. The 5th one may have actually been used to manipulate objects, which has been theorized through further studies of the biomechanics of its arms, its legs, stuff like that, you know, just regular old studies. Okay, so there are 2 species currently classified as valid from Lambeosaurus. There is Lambeosaurus lambei, which is pretty original. It has a hatchet-shaped crest with a handle-like process projecting backwards at an angle. Generally, females are smaller in the crest area, and generally the crests on these females of Lambeosaurus lambei are rounder, pretty much they're rounder versions of the males. The smaller species, which is known as Lambeosaurus magnicristatus, is it actually has a greatly reduced handle process, and it has a crest very similar to Corythosaurus because it looks more like a pompadour in such a way. Now, to make the relation clear between Lambeosaurus and Corythosaurus, basically what they found is that the largest Lambeosaurus actually grew to about 9.4 meters in length, which is similar to Corythosaurus, and additionally, skin has been found of Lambeosaurus. It's generally thin with uniform polygon sutures that are distributed in no particular order on the neck, torso, and tail, which may have been actually similar to the skin that's been found on Corythosaur specimens. Alright guys, you're going to love me for this, because guess what? We're going to go through the history of Lambeosaurus. So we start off in 1902 when Lawrence Lamb actually found hadrosaur hind limbs bones as well as other material. I think they were originally classified as GSC 419. They were from Alberta, and he named this specimen pretty much Trachodon marginatus. And basically, Trachodon was the general wastebasket taxon of the hadrosaurs back in many years ago, obviously, even before 1902, I believe. In that same year, though, Trachodon altidens was actually named from an upper jaw from the left side of the face from the Dinosaur Park Formation, and it was also described by, guess who? Lawrence Lamb. Then in 1914, Lamb discovered 2 skulls, and he assigned them to Trachodon marginatus, so the first species of Trachodon that he named, or the first one that we've got in the history. And he found them from the late Campanian era, so the Upper Cretaceous period of the Dinosaur Park Formation. Then William Parkes actually renamed them to Stephanosaurus marginatus, so basically he just changed the genus name. 1923, Lamb actually renamed Stephanosaurus marginatus to Lambeosaurus, so we're finally getting somewhere, but he named them Lambeosaurus lambei. Though, before that, in 1920, William Matthew described Prochinosaurus or Prochenosaurus, or however you want to say it or whatever, and he based it on a specimen found in the Dinosaur Park Formation that was AMNH5340. Basically, and he changed that actually to Tetragonosaurus. Parks actually changed that to Tetragonosaurus. Sorry, I'm getting confused here. And then he basically later added Tetragonosaurus praeseps, and he also placed in there as well another species which was called T. erectaphons, which obviously is very dirty-minded of you. How dare you? Then Matthew's Proshenosaurus was actually changed into Tetragonosaurus. I keep pronouncing these names wrong. I'm really sorry. Tetragonosaurus praeseps. So basically, I believe at this point, Proshenosaurus doesn't actually exist. At this point, though in 1935, Charles Sternberg named Tetragonosaurus carnivrevis. Then later, Rich Swann, not the Rich Swann from WWE, no, not him, but Rich Swann actually rejected Tetragonosaurus Proshenosaurus. So yeah, and he declared that Proshenosaurus would actually be a conserved name, so basically it can't be destroyed, it can't be removed. Then in 1942, Swann and Wright actually changed the Tetragonosaurus praeseps to Proshenosaurus praeseps, and named as the type species. In 1975, Peter Dodson showed that Proshenosaurus, or the Shenosaurs as he called them, were actually just juveniles of other hadrosaurs. The Proshenosaurus praeseps and the Proshenosaurus ultidens were then classified as synonyms of Lambeosaurus lambei. Then later on, Proshenosaurus carnivrevis from the Dinosaur Park Formation that was discovered by Charles Sternberg was classified as a juvenile Corythosaurus. Then P. erectaphons was actually classified as Corythosaurus coscirosus, a juvenile pretty much, but has been found to actually be a distinct species and a distinct genus in its whole, and basically that gave rise to Hippacrosaurus. Then another Proshenosaurus specimen, known as Proshenosaurus convicens, was actually erected to be the new genus known as, I'm probably going to break this one as well, probably going to butcher it, Kazakhalambia. Oh, well done, I did something good. Clap for me. 1975, Dodson saw differences in the species, differences between species as actually variation in the species, and therefore he named Lambeosaurus clavinalis, as a female Lambeosaurus lambei. Corythosaurus frontalis and Proshenosaurus praeseps were actually then put into Lambeosaurus magnicristatus as juveniles. Then later on, Lambeosaurus laticotis in 1981 was renamed as Magnapolina. So yeah, the history is really confusing and really long, but it kind of goes along with Corythosaurus in a bit. I think in the 1970s there was a big overhaul, or a big redescription of many species from North America, of hadrosaurs and ceratopsians and all that. It was incredible. I don't know if there's been a name given for that kind of transition from having all these species to just having a couple. I don't know. I guess someone should give it a name, But it's really fascinating how all these species once existed in our minds, and then suddenly, boop, nope, just same species, blah. So both species of Lambeosaurus actually lived alongside Centrosaurus, Styracosaurus, and Casmosaurus, and also Prosaurolophus, Gripposaurus, Corythosaurus, Parasaurolophus, Gorgosaurus, Edmontonia, and Euoplocephalus. Lambeosaurus magnicristatus is actually rarer and is found at the very top of the Dinosaur Park Formation, while Lambeosaurus lambei is actually present in the upper thirds of the Dinosaur Park Formation. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's pretty, well, it's kind of long, but I had quite a bit of information, and I found this really fascinating. I found Lambeosaurus as a really fascinating dinosaur. But I think with other hadrosaurs, you have to have that great appreciation that the ontogeny of these animals will differ very greatly, and I think that's what these scientists learned through the years, that there is great differentiation throughout the ontogenetic stages of these animals, and that's why we have so many synonyms for this particular dinosaur. So thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I shall see you later. Bye bye.